Had the wrong number.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, is this Colin Hay?
Yeah.
Hey, Colin, this is Harvey with Monkeywhale.com.
How's it going?
How's your tour going?
Pretty good. Yeah, we got a day off today, so it's our only day off.
Oh, really?
It's not completely a day off because I'm chatting to you.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I actually really wanted to talk to you because I'm really sort of compelled by your story. I didn't know that you were actually originally from Scotland and then you moved to Australia. Was that when your parents moved to Australia? Was that part of? I know Australia had a big sort of immigration incentive program. Did they take advantage
Yeah,
of
it's
it?
called the assisted passage. Yeah.
Nice. So how was that? How was that? I mean, it seems like your whole life has been about transitions. How was that moving to Australia initially?
Well, it was pretty amazing in many ways. Pretty, mostly positive. But not without trauma because for everybody in the family really. I mean, my parents especially because they were in their 40s when they left. So they left everything behind and to go to another country. So it was a little bit easier for us because we were 14 and I was 14, pretty adaptable. I think it was a little bit harder for my brother who was 4 years older than me. He actually went back to Scotland and went back to school there, and but I found it a pretty incredible thing to happen. I mean, I guess the simplest way of kind of explaining it, which is like in visual form, is the fact that it felt like going from black and white into color.
Yeah.
Technicolor. Because you know what Britain's like. It's a place that's got a lot of history. It's got a lot of history. It's got a lot of soul in many ways, but it's pretty grey. It's pretty black and white. When you picture it in your mind. And then went to Australia. It was just like intense blue skies and hot, big ocean and big sky. Everything was big. But Melbourne has Melbourne's a pretty cultural place. Melbourne has a big arts community. There's a lot of theatre there. You're correct, but not necessarily in Richmond. Richmond traditionally was an inner suburb. It was an industrial suburb, which has been gentrified now. But then it was a very urban place. My friends, a lot of my friends in Melbourne were my closest friend in Melbourne is an actor, and that's the field that he went into. And my other friend Greg Ham, he was in theatre as well. Before he joined me in Men at Work. So it was always a question of whether to go into music or some area of performance, but always kind of written songs since I was about 14, so that was the path that was laid out in front of me pretty much.
So then you came to the United States.
Well, it wasn't that fast really. I mean, the old band broke up in about 80. It was really over in 84, and I didn't move to the States until about 5 years later. 89, I came here. I mean, I traveled. I lived in New York for a while in 87, but I wasn't really based in the States, and I moved here in about 89, and to California. I had a record deal based out of LA.
Right.
So I came initially just to do that. And I rented a place for a few months, and then I just discovered that I liked it, so I stayed.
Was this something that struck you initially when you first got here?
Yeah, I felt comfortable. Strangely enough, I kind of felt like I was home, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel that when I go to Melbourne as well, and I also feel that when I go to Scotland, but in a different way.
Yeah.
But Los Angeles to be full of people that people didn't care about you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They didn't really pass judgment on you either. They really, you're here in LA, and everyone seems to kind of know why you're here. You're there to realize some kind of dream you have, and that's what a lot of people are there for. And some people stay and some people leave. It's like a revolving door. But once you kind of scrape away the first impression sometimes of a place is not really actually what it is. But
yeah,
there were a lot of people doing similar things to what I was doing, but in different ways. So the people that I met were people that I could have an instinctive that I could relate to instinctively, you know, whether they were musicians or whatever. I felt felt pretty comfortable there.
So what was your dream, or what is your dream? I mean, you've played music for professionally, touring longer than most people could imagine doing.
That's still the dream. I mean, that's still the motivating force, if you like. I still like doing that. I still like writing songs and recording them and going out and playing them in different parts of the world. I really like that. I still feel like I'm scratching the surface. Really, I don't really feel like I feel like I'm, making a mark slowly but surely, you know.
I think that you can sense that in this album too. It's a comfortable album. It's definitely an album that speaks to the genre of Americana.
There was an effortless quality to it, mainly because I wrote a couple of songs with a friend of mine who lives up the road from me in Topanga, a guy called Michael Georgiadis. I wrote a couple of songs with him, the first song, Oh California, and the second song, Prison Time. And I really liked those songs, and so it set the scene for the rest of the record. And I thought, well, the rest of the songs have to at least be, up there with those, because I thought they were pretty good quality-wise. So I had them as a yardstick, if you like.
So you're touring through North Carolina as part of this tour as well.
Yes.
Which
It's a nice tour. You know, the people who are coming out are fantastic. You know, so it's pretty cool. I'm having a good time. So yeah, come on and say it over. If you can manage it, you won't regret it. One of the things I like to do when I go back home is listen to Bob Dylan's show on the radio, because he does theme time with Bob Dylan. Sometimes, he plays some nice music, but the thing I always enjoy most is when he gives a recipe. There's nothing, I'm driving along and I find myself, grasping for a pen to get Bob's recipe for meatballs, because I think you got to have Bob Dylan's recipe for meatballs. It's what we eat around my house all the time. So I don't know whether I believe that or not, but it's nice to get one of Bob's recipes.